So I think it was along that time there was probably me and 4 other guys that tried out that night. And the first night I tried out, had a good dark match. Hell, I can't remember how it worked. But they hired me that night. They came in and it's funny because I'm in the shower after my match or whatever. Of course, who do they send back to fucking get me is Pat Patterson. Yeah, fucking
Right.
the fucking wiener bandit. So I'm just like, why is this guy standing here? Can't you tell me this after the match is over, after I've gotten dressed or whatever? Man, nothing. Some things never change. But yeah, so they did hire me that night.
Wow.
Even though I had another dark match the next night at TV. But yeah.
Did you have to tell Cornette? Was he cool?
Yeah, he was. I mean, he knew about my tryout. Absolutely, I kept him informed of everything. I mean, that was the right thing to do, considering everything that he had done for me. So yeah, and he even told me. He said, "Take it. This is a good chance for you." But yeah, he was very much for it.
What were your initial memories of meeting Vince? What was he like?
I think from his perspective, he's probably being business, but I always thought he was sort of standoffish. Maybe I was too at the time, but nothing overly impressive considering, where he was at and with his company and everything, his company.
Did he make any promises to you?
Not when I was hired. Later on in my career, yeah. He did, absolutely. He told me things, and he had his agents tell me things that ended up not being true. And I know that I'm not the first person, absolutely not. And even my partner Bryan had told me some of the same things. But after a while, you get tired of hearing the bullshit, and it's time to say, hey, move on. So that's. But yeah, did he tell me stuff? Sure.
Anything that stands out that you remember?
Or
some promises that were broken? Or?
Yeah, well, Intercontinental title. That was promised to me. I was getting over. Came in as Adam Bomb as a heel, and then worked later on eventually because it was going nowhere because they sort of stuck in the middle of the card. So they turned it face and started getting over, and then they basically was telling me, "Hey, we see this is working. We're going to put the Intercontinental belt on you," that kind of thing. But it never came about. I think people sabotaged it from behind, so it didn't work. But That's the way it goes.
In that company, were you able to approach anybody in the office and say, "Hey, what's the deal?" Or was it pretty much whatever they do with you as long as you're getting paid?
Yeah, I mean, at the end, I was really frustrated with with Briscoe as an agent, with Pat Patterson as an agent or whatever. I don't know what his fucking job was to run around the bathroom. Yeah, there were broken promises from guys. I knew it was time to go, and it was time to go. So.
How did the Adam Bomb gimmick come about?
It's one of those things where I had an interview a while back. People were asking me about that. It was, I think it's one of those names that they trademarked somewhere down the line because at the same time, they initially approached me with the Ringmaster, which was a gimmick that was offered to Steve Austin a few years later. So I'm guessing Vince and Linda sit at home and get boozed up or whatever the hell they do, and come up with these names. I'm guessing, and they trademark them and they stick them on somebody that they think it might work. I don't know, or maybe Pat comes over and entertains them both. But it's one of those things where it was weird because that name Ringmaster was originally for me, and then they said no, we're going to go with Adam Bomb. Which, I guess I like Adam Bomb a little better than Ringmaster.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, did you like the gimmick?
You know what? It was okay. I put a lot of my spins on it. I think if they would have just left it the way they originally intended for it, it would have probably been pretty bland. But it was my idea with the contacts, with my idea with doing the red tongue, and some of the music and a lot of those things I really had a hands on because I had come up with these ideas and pitched them to them and they liked them.
Right.
Even up to the point of the merchandising as a babyface. I went to an outside company and came up with all my own designs and the T-shirts and all the different merchandise and stuff, and had all this done and showed it to Vince, and he popped big time. He was, "Oh, fuck, this is great!" Boom. Of course, he had them pump out the merchandise right away. But that was all me going, hey, you know, I even spent money out of my pocket saying, okay, this is what I wanted, some shirts, what do you think? And every bit of it worked. So yeah, it was me with my own ideas, because if you left it to them, it would have never happened.
Did the context ever get in the way of working? Or?
Occasionally, yeah, but there was actually at the very end of the context, there was a clear spot, and it was just a round, so you could actually see through them pretty well.